He's a much better striker, much more varied attack. When Hamdy closes the distance, Pogues has those elbows and knees to the body that he can mix in there, and I think those will work against Hamdy. And Hamdy's cardio is awful, so it's like for the first round, Hamdy's going to land some nice leg kicks. He's got those big shots. His striking isn't terrible, but he's got to be really close to do it because his reach isn't that great for heavyweight. His wrestling is very good. I'll give him that. Control is solid. But Pogues has pretty good takedown defense. And Hamdy, the second he starts feeling resistance and it becomes hard, he starts to really slow down like he did in that Dontel Mays fight. And that was on a ton of steroids or whatever he was on. And he still gassed like crazy. With Pogues has good takedown defense. And if he can stuff those takedowns and keep it on the feet, I think he's a much better striker. I think his cardio is much better. I think he could just jab, follow it up with straight strikes. He's a good striker. He's nothing special. He doesn't have a ton of power, but he can strike. And against someone like Hamdy, who's just kind of a punching bag, I feel like he's going to be able to land a lot. And like I said, I think those knees to the body when Hamdy's coming in are going to be really useful. I think those elbows that he likes to mix in up in the clinch, I think that's going to be useful. So on paper, I think he should win the fight. But the problem is right now, this region in particular, unfortunately, their judging is absolutely biased to hell. And if you've watched me over the years, you know I have refused to believe in hometown bias. I usually don't think it's really a thing. I think it's a thing fans made up to make themselves feel better when they lose their bets or when their favorite fighter loses. But to be honest, like it's pretty clear at this point. Like, what more do they need to do to show us that like the judging is fixed? Like Rinat Fakhretdinov, I'm sorry, he did not win that fight. Carlos Leal won that fight. We all just saw what happened to Paul Hughes against Nurmagomedov. Like, do they have to put up a sign and tell us that they're going to be biased for us to understand that they're going to be biased? By us, I mean me. When I say us, I mean me, because I'm the one who always refuses to believe it. I'm the one who's always like, oh, it's nothing, but it's definitely something, at least in this region of the world. So I will not be betting Pogues at close odds. I could see a world where even outside of bad judging, maybe Hamdy can win the fight, you know? If he can get those takedowns, Pogues isn't that great off his back. He's not very, once he gets there, he can get kind of stuck. His get-ups aren't as good as his takedown defense. So if Hamdy can get just one or two takedowns around, he could win the fight straight up. But his cardio is really poor. His striking isn't that great. And I don't want to bet on him at Pick'em, kind of relying on the judges to be like super favorable, even though they probably will be. And at the same time, I'm also not interested in Pogues at Pick'em because even though I think he should win, I think he will probably get robbed if they go to a decision, and he doesn't have finishing upside really, unless Hamdy really gasses. I probably would put a little sprinkle on Pogues round 3 or round 3 knockout. I'm going to see what the domestics give me because it'll be something crazy because everyone's used to him just going to the decision, and he doesn't have that much power. But like I said, Hamdy's cardio is really bad. And they can fix the fight all they want in terms of judging. They can't stop a knockout. If Pogues is going to knock him out because Hamdy's tired, there's absolutely nothing any judge or anybody can do unless the ref really starts stepping in there. But I think that Pogues is live for a round 3 finish, and I'll probably put a little bit on that. I think Pogues is the side in terms of a pick, but I'm not going to be playing him because I expect him to be robbed. And I also think that even outside of a robbery, I think Hamdy could win this fight if the gas tank holds up. And maybe he's been running these for the last few years that he's been suspended. I don't know. So I'm going to pass. I think this is a great fight to pass. Just a little round 3 sprinkle on Pogues. Next up, we've got Bogdan Grad versus Lucas Alexander. Grad, he's going to be 14-2-0. He's 29 years old, 5'8" with a 70-inch reach. Alexander on the other side, he's going to be 8-4-0, 29 as well. He's going to be 3 inches taller at 5'11", and he's going to have a 3-inch reach advantage. I really, really wish that I taped this fight earlier. I waited because I didn't think I'd be interested because my guy Lucas got knocked out by Jekka not too long ago. It was pretty long ago at this point. It was a year ago, but last fight out, he got knocked out. And it's nice because that was one of my prouder moments. So what happened that week leading into the Jekka fight? First, pre-tape, I put together, there was like 2 favorites. I forget who they were that I liked, and I wanted to parlay them. And I saw Lucas Alexander, and I was like, Jekka, he's awful. All right, parlay for a unit. And I had that chalky parlay. And then they dropped the domestic lines for like knockout props and round props. And they gave Jekka round 1 knockout plus 26 or plus 2,400. And I was just like, Nah, I gotta play that. Dogfather played it with me, my guy, and that cash, that was beautiful. That bet was purely because the odds were ridiculous for Dzeko's complete win condition, and that's why I took it. But that felt good. I don't actually think Alexander's that like chinny. I don't think that that's that horrible of a look that Dzeko knocked him out. Dzeko's not a good fighter, but he's incredibly explosive and he does hit hard. So at the end of the day, if he catches him, he catches him. That doesn't mean he's a better fighter. It doesn't mean Lucas Alexander is terrible. It just means he got caught. At the end of the day, I actually think Alexander's pretty damn good. I know it was Steven Peterson, but in that fight, he was flowing. He looked nice. His output was on point. He really angles off of his strikes, and then he has the counter set up afterwards. He mixes it up really well. His kicks are good. His hands are good. Takedown defense isn't the best, but it's also not awful. I think his takedown defense is fine. I think his get-ups are fine. And Bogdan Grad, I know he got those takedowns against Aswell. He has some wrestling, especially because he's so strong and physical, but his control is terrible. His control isn't that good. He's not really doing a ton. You don't see him landing crazy ground and pound. He doesn't have a crazy jiu-jitsu game to kind of work off of that wrestling. So it's like, yeah, can he mix in a few takedowns in this fight here and there? Yeah, he can. Is it going to really score for him? I highly doubt it. And on the feet, I think Alexander's faster. I think he's slicker. I think he's cleaner. I like his striking quite a bit more. I think Grad is a fine striker. He's not bad in his own right. He's got some good kicks to the body. He can go upstairs too. The hands are solid, but he's pretty predictable. He's a little bit meat and potatoes, and he is very hittable. And I think Alexander is a lot faster. And if he can just keep range, I think he's going to be landing a lot cleaner and a lot more often. I think that his output is going to be better. I think it's going to be hard for Grad to reach him. I know that Grad had great output in the Aswell fight, but Aswell, I love him, and I think he won that fight. He's so hittable. So it's not that crazy that Grad was able to land a lot. As well as defense is kind of like Jiri's, you know, his head is just there to be punched, and he can take it and then he gives it back harder. But I think that's one of the reasons Grad was able to land so much. I think he's going to have a little bit of a harder time landing on Alexander, who uses good movement. So for me, I do like Alexander. I think that he's going to win a decision. That's what I'm thinking. Now the line kind of ran away from me. It's minus 120, and it's like maybe Alexander could be a little wider. Maybe I can cap him a little higher than that and like find some value there. But then I am worried a little bit about the chin. I know, like I said, Dzeko's explosive and hits hard, but Bogdan Grad also hits really hard. He is a powerful dude, and he does have good striking to use it with. So I'm a little hesitant to lay chalk on him, even though it's very slight. It's minus 120. I'm a little hesitant. Maybe that's just because I missed the dog line. That happens to me sometimes. Even if the bet is still good, I won't do it just because I'm salty. I don't know. But we'll see. I'm thinking maybe like Alexander by decision or something. What's the totals on that fight? Oh, yeah. Fight goes, I thought, is pretty good. Like, fight goes at plus 120, over 2.5, minus 125. I don't hate those at all because I really don't think they're going to knock each other out. I just don't. Like, it's a little shaky for all the reasons I said earlier with like the Dzeko thing, and Bogdan Grad got knocked out by Tom Nolan. But more often than not, I think this fight goes to a decision. So I'm kind of tempted if fight goes on plus money. I think another possible angle, I'm going to wait and see what they give it to us with. But decision only for Alexander, that could be nice. I don't really see him knocking out Grad. So for me, I feel like that could be a good way to bet him and not have to worry about him getting knocked out, because then you'd get your money back. But I don't know if they're going to give me plus money on that or not. So we'll see. For now, I'm passing, though, and Lucas Alexander will be the pick. Moving on, we've got Jasmine Jasudavicius versus Mayra Bueno Silva. Jasmine, she's 12-3-0, 35. She's 5'7" with a 68-inch reach. On the other side, Silva, she's going to be 33, so she's 2 years younger. She's going to be 1 inch shorter, and she's going to be at a 1.5-inch reach disadvantage. Dog or pass for me. I think Jasmine probably wins. She's got the cardio edge. She can get the takedowns. I understand why people are parlaying her, but I just can't do it. Like, her striking is not good. She doesn't have power on the feet. She's very hittable. And if you're betting on Jasmine, you're betting on her getting a lot of top time, right? Because I don't think you're betting her at minus 220 or whatever it is because you think she can outstrike Mayra Bueno Silva. I'm assuming if you're parlaying her, it's because you think she gets the takedowns. But the problem with that is then you need her to survive the ground game of Mayra Bueno Silva, who's very dangerous off her back. She's got very good jiu-jitsu, and she could subject. I think that's a real possibility, and especially because of the styles and how the fight will probably play out, she's probably going to get a lot of opportunities. Now, on the other hand, do I really want to bet her knowing that she'll probably be playing off of her back the entire fight? No, I don't really want to do that. And I do give Jasmine a pretty significant cardio advantage. I just don't feel really that great about parlaying Jasmine when I know that her win condition is putting Mayra Bueno Silva on her back and keeping her there. And that's just going to give Mayra Bueno Silva opportunities. And on the feet, I feel like Mayra Bueno Silva is a better striker. She hits a lot harder. She's very wide with her punches, but it's not like Jasmine is some clean sniper who's going to go down the pipe when Mayra goes wide. So I favor Silva on the feet. I give her all the finishing upside outside of her getting gassed and then Jasmine getting a late finish, like a round 3 or something. I'm sure they're going to underprice that, because it's pretty common knowledge at this point that Mayra doesn't have the best cardio. Let me see what they put it at. Oh, they didn't underprice it, actually. Jasmine is plus 2,000 to win by round 3. It's not a bad bet. Not a bad bet. That could be a sprinkle I make. I'll see. I really don't know if I want to do anything with it. Like, Mayra Bueno Silva money line could make some sense depending how wide it gets. Sub is probably already cooked. Plus 600. Actually, no one's even really touched it. We'll see what domestics give. That could be something. Or a Jasmine round 3. I think one of those ways is how you play it. I wouldn't really parlay Jasmine. I think she wins. She'll be my pick. But like I said, her win condition is also giving Mayra Bueno Silva a lot of chances. So I'm going to pass at this line. Let's see what we got in the chat. Champ saying, I think Jasmine wins, but not crazy about the line. But yeah. I was thinking that too. Like, fight doesn't go could be something in this fight, because Mayra Bueno Silva could probably finish at any point, and then Jasmine could probably finish late, and you're getting fight ends ITD plus 250. That's not bad at all. That might be a look that I do. We'll see. Being careful with totals. I haven't been very good with them lately. All right. Next up, we've got Terrance McKinney versus Damir Hadzovic. McKinney 15-7-0. He's 30. He's 5'10" with a 73.5-inch reach. Hadzovic 14-7-0. He's 38. He's been out for a while, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2.5 years. 5'9", so he's 1 inch shorter, and he's given up 3.5 inches in reach. I won't spend much time on this. It's a classic McKinney fight. McKinney's better. He's younger. He's faster. He's more athletic. He's more powerful. I think he can knock out Damir. I think he can take him down. I think he can sub him. He's a really good wrestler. He's a good striker in terms of just, like, he's a pretty technical striker. He's nice, clean, down the pipe, but he falls off a cliff every single damn time. And I've tried to have hope on him, but he just kind of falls apart over and over again. Now, Damir's not really a kind of guy to take advantage of that. I'm not super worried about Damir doing anything to him late, but it's just a shaky spot. Like, you just don't lay chalk on Terrance McKinney. It's just a general rule that most should follow, and I'm going to follow it. I do kind of like McKinney knockout. I think I saw it was like plus 235 or something. They're really favoring the sub. It's like plus 100 on the sub. I think he knocks him out, if anything. So I kind of like that. Like, Damir, he's not super defensive. Terrance hits super hard. Damir's on the older side of things now. And I just feel like Terrance can knock him out. So I kind of like that. I might put a half unit on it. I've been thinking about it. At the same time, like, this might be the time to do Terrance by decision. Damir's relatively durable. He's not that easy to submit. The guys submitting him are really good grapplers. It's like, would it be that crazy if Terrance just won the first 2 rounds, fell off a cliff, but didn't get finished because Damir's not like a pace menace? That kind of feels like it could be something. And I think it was like plus 900 for the Terrance decision prop. Yeah, plus 900. Domestics will probably give you something even crazier. I feel like that's not bad. I honestly feel like that's not bad. Terrance by decision, maybe a sprinkle. I think Terrance by knockout is more likely. I might put a half unit on that. Like I said, we'll see what they give us for KO or decision. Since they're favoring the sub, maybe that'll be playable. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not going to waste time here. I think Terrance is fine. I don't think Damir is going to finish him late or anything like that. But I'm also not going to bet Terrance at minus 500. Just not going to do that. I hope nobody's sick sound. I really hope nobody. Champ saying I don't really know. Yeah, I don't really see where Damir is going to give him any major issues. All right. Next up, we've got Shamil Gaziev versus Thomas Peterson. Shamil, he's 13-1-0, 34, 6'4" with a 78.5-inch reach. Peterson, 9-2-0. He's 29. He's 5 years younger, 3 inches shorter. And he's going to be at a 4-inch reach disadvantage. Not crazy about this fight either. It's another one where it's like, I honestly think there might be some value on the dog. I don't really like Peterson's style or his cardio all that much, but Shamil's a gas bag. He's low output on the feet. He hits very hard. He's a decent striker. He's a good wrestler. His jiu-jitsu is okay, but I feel like Thomas is a pretty live underdog here. I think that on the feet, it's going to be close in terms of just regular striking, like technique. I feel like it's close. And if anything, Peterson throws more. It's just he's very hittable, and Gaziev does hit a lot harder, in my opinion. So that's a concern. The grappling will be interesting. I don't really think Peterson's going to be able to take down Gaziev, though, and I think Gaziev could probably take him down. I think Gaziev could possibly sub him. That's something I was thinking about. And even though I could see Peterson pulling this off, like if he can stuff takedowns and just wear on Gaziev a little bit, clinch him a bit, tire him out, it's a winnable fight. But again, it goes back to Peterson's not going to finish him, right? And the judging in this region is very poor, and Gaziev is going to be favored. So do I want to bet a plus 300 that might have value, but could also very easily get robbed? Yeah, I don't really want to do that, especially also because I could also see Gaziev just finishing him. So for me, it's Gaziev, maybe a sprinkle on Gaziev sub, but I highly doubt I have anything there. 6-Hound asking about the totals. I lean over. I don't think either of them is like an insane finisher. If Gaziev puts his pedal on the metal really early, he could maybe get him out of there, but I don't have a super strong take. Fight Goes isn't bad at plus money. I could see this being a grease fest and just going all the way. Over 1.5 at minus 145 now. Yeah, I'm not super interested in the totals on this one. Maybe if the line keeps going down, I can get on an over, but I don't want to play an under. Champ thinks the line's insane. Peterson might have better wrestling. Gaziev's cardio is awful. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I don't see Peterson finishing him, and the judging is the judging. I'm going to be super careful this week in terms of the judging. My guy JB, what's up, brother? Thanks for tuning in. But all right, let's move on. Next up, we've got Muhammad Naimov versus Kaan Ofli. Naimov, he's going to be 11-3-0. He's 30 years old, 5'9" at the 70-inch reach. Ofli 11-3-1. He's 31 years old, 5'7". He's 2 inches shorter, and he's going to be at a 4-inch reach disadvantage. Not much to say here. I think the line feels gross, but it's probably fine. Like, how does Ofli really win this fight? I don't know. Like, I don't really know how he wins this fight. Maybe if he can really get his wrestling going, but Naimov has good takedown defense. Naimov can wrestle too. Naimov's a better striker. Naimov hits harder. Naimov just has crappy output, and I don't love his cardio, but I think he kind of has Ofli covered here, and I don't have a ton to say. The unders are kind of decent, but I don't think Ofli's chinny or anything like that. Myron Santos is just an absolute animal. That was a crazy, crazy performance. So, yeah, I'm not going to waste time on this fight. Going to pass overall. Naimov, decent parlay piece because I just don't see a real path for Kaan here. But at the same time, do I really want to lay that kind of chalk on Naimov? Not really. He's never been my kind of guy. All right, moving on. We've got Ziam versus Mike Davis. Ziam is 16-4-0. He's 27 years old, 6'1" with the 75-inch reach. Davis 11-2-0. He's 32. He's going to be 6 feet tall. So he's 1 inch shorter. He's 5 years older, and he's going to be at a 3-inch reach disadvantage. So I surprised myself on this one. I've always been a Mike Davis guy. I think this dude is awesome. I think he's an incredible fighter. I think he's really talented. I think he's really well-rounded. And I just think he's an absolute beast. And I've always been kind of low on Ziam. I've always thought that he's improving rapidly and he's getting better and better, but I've been pretty low on him. And I did bet Frivola against him, and man, he looked like a different person. Ziam is really filled into his frame. He's not scrawny at all. He's just massive now. He's really dangerous in the clinch. His striking's on point. The takedown defense is getting better and better and better. That is still a concern. And I think that Mike Davis is rightfully favored. Like in terms of a pick, because for me, a pick means who do I think wins the fight more often out of the two of them. If you run it back 10 times, I think it's probably Davis because of the grappling upside, because even though Ziam does seem to have improved a lot in the takedown defense department, in the get-up departments, I still think Davis is going to have an edge in the grappling. But honestly, like, I had to take a shot at Ziam at plus 205, I think I took. I put a unit on him. This was like a week ago, week and a half, something like that. I saw the line. I taped it real quick, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll take Ziam. Because, look, on the feet, I think Ziam has a slight advantage. I like Ziam striking a little bit more. I think he's a little bit cleaner, a little bit more technical. I think he has more to offer in the clinch. I think his knees are really nice there. I mean, that's what put Favola away. But Davis is also a really good striker, so it's going to be close. But I do think that Ziam could do better work there. And then for me, it's really going to come down to him stuffing the shots. He needs to stuff those takedowns because Davis can wrestle, and Davis has pretty good jiu-jitsu too. So that's my main concern, having money on him. But at plus 210, I felt like if he keeps this on the feet, this is probably like 55, 60% Ziam in my opinion. So that's why I made the play on Ziam. Keeping on the feet is a great question, but the dude's been rapidly improving. He's got a really big frame. And I know from my wrestling days, I hated wrestling guys like him, tall and lanky. They just tripod and then stay up no matter what you try. So yeah, for me, it's dog or pass. I'm on the dog. If you're just asking me a straight pick, who do I think is going to win? Who am I going to put on Tapology? It's going to be Davis because I think he probably wins this more often than not. Like if you run it 10 times, I don't know. I'd give him like 5.5, 6 of them. But at plus 205, I thought it was a good line on Ziam, and I took it. And we can move on. My guy JB, appreciate you tuning in, man. Honestly, some really great fights here. Next up, we've got Said Nurmagomedov versus Vinicius Oliveira. Nurmagomedov, he's going to be 18-3-0, 32 years old, 5'8" with a 70-inch reach. Oliveira, 21-3-0. He's 29, so he's going to be 3 years younger, going to be 1 inch taller, and he's going to have the same reach. And it's kind of crazy because the dude's 3 years younger. He's been in the UFC much less, but he's got more fights than Said does. Because Said's very inactive, and that's one of my red flags with him. I don't like inactivity, and he's a very inactive fighter. And Vinicius, he's got a ton of fights. He's been fighting a lot recently. He had his debut last year after the Contender Series, and this is a tricky fight for me. I feel like I do wish I taped this earlier, because if I had gotten to the early lines, I would have played Vinicius for sure. I know that now that I've taped it. But I hadn't taped it at the time, so I was hesitant. I didn't want to fall into the hype. Everybody loves him now because he beat Ricky, because he beat Sopaj. I had him against Sopaj. I had him against Ricky, but I didn't want to rush it, so I just waited till I taped. And I wish I taped earlier because, yeah, at like plus 185 or whatever it was, or even higher, Vinicius is a good play. But now that it's getting tighter, it's like Said is really good too, man. I know he's inactive, and the level of competition hasn't been like phenomenal, but he's a really technical striker. He's got really nice kicks. He's got nice counters with the hands. He mixes up targets relatively well. He's a good wrestler, even though that's not his main thing. He's not a Nurmagomedov Dagestani wrestler. He's a striker who can also wrestle, but his front chokes are nasty. And overall, like his opportunistic submissions are just really, really good. His back take is crazy. The way he took Martinez's back in I think it was the first round, was really, really clean. And that's one of my concerns with Oliveira, right? Because like, look, on the feet, Oliveira's going to do a lot more, and Oliveira's going to land harder. Said's going to be a little bit more clean and a little bit more defensively sound because he keeps the range pretty well, stays where he's safe, gets in and gets out. And Oliveira's kind of just hands down. He's like Jiri. He trusts his head movement a lot, and his head movement is good, but he also leans back a lot. And if Said just follows up with a kick, he can take him out with that. So that's a concern. So on the feet, like I said, power, output, go to Oliveira. Technical skills, like I think it goes to Said, and defense goes to Said. And then the grappling's where it gets tricky, right? Because Oliveira's takedown defense isn't the best. It did look a lot better last time out, for sure. Ricky still got him when he timed the takedowns well. Like the double was pretty easy once he timed it, but he couldn't keep him down. Oliveira's get-ups were pretty good. The issue is when he's getting back up, he gives up his back. Sopaj took advantage. Ricky took his back for like a brief second, and Said's going to take advantage of that. If they get into that kind of situation where Said takes a shot, maybe brings him down to a knee or brings him down for a sec, and Vinicius pops back up, he's going to give up that back, and Said could take it, and that could either mean the fight's over or he just wins the round. So that's a concern. And then on top of that, again, the judging in this region. Like I'm going to be really hesitant to fade anybody who's going to get favorable judging here, unless I think the other guy has like a really good chance at a finish. Vinicius could finish anybody. He hits really hard. Do I think he's going to finish Said, though? Not really. Said seems durable to me, and he does a really good job at maintaining that range. If this fight was in the US or anywhere else, I'd be betting Vinicius here. Because it's not, I'm going to wait. If the line really improves, I'll take a shot on Vinicius. Honestly, I'd play either guy depending on the line. If the line improves a lot, I'd play Vinicius. Maybe like plus, I don't know, 185, 200 would be cool. But at the same time, like if Saeed drops crazy to like minus 125, I would consider a Saeed shot too, because I do think at the end of the day, he's the rightful favorite. He's got the submission upside, got the grappling upside, and he's a very, very technical striker in his own right. And Vinicius is going to really have to put it on him. He's going to have to use those leg kicks and not break his own leg again. And he's going to have to just be in his face, take away that movement. And he can do it. And he's a guy who I'd love betting on as an underdog. He will fight for your money, and he's an absolute beast. So I'm hoping that the parlay money comes in on Saeed and I can hop in on Vinicius, but I am worried about the judging, like I said, and I'm also worried about him getting caught with the sub. Let's see what the chat's talking about. 6-hound got Vinicius decision. Yeah, that's a decent spot. I would just be worried about the KO, you know. JB saying Saeed KO plus 800. Yeah, if the guy threw more, I'd be more interested in that. That's my problem with him, is his output. Back when Prize Picks was a thing in New York, he was one of my favorite people for Prize Picks because they would always set his total strike somewhere around like 50, and he goes under pretty much every damn time. So I always had his unders on Prize Picks, but we don't have that here anymore. Champ saying, I think I trust Saeed to be too technical, but yeah, Oliveira's a scary dude to fade, especially at chalk. And yeah, I'm with you, 6-hound. I'm with you. Saeed's the pick, but it's dog or pass at the current line. All right, next up, we've got Sergei Pavlovich versus Jairzinho Rosenstrike. Pavlovich, 18-3-0, 32 years old, 6'3" with an 84-inch reach. Jairzinho, 15-5-0. He's 36, so he's going to be 4 years older, 1 inch shorter, and he's at a 6-inch reach disadvantage. He's not 6'2". I should have corrected it right away. The dude is like 5'10" on a good day, wearing really nice sneakers with the big whatever it's called. He's not 6'2". The fact that they still haven't fixed it is just bizarre to me. Now, in terms of the actual fight, I'll be honest, I haven't fully taped this one because I'm not in a rush. I know I don't like betting Jairzinho. I just don't like doing it. He's just not the kind of guy I like to back. He's a low output counter striker, and he depends on people closing the range, and he never leads exchanges. He only counters, and his output is shit. But Pavlovich isn't a bad guy to have that style against, you know? Pavlovich is going to be plotting forward, moving forward, looking to land those big shots. And if Jairzinho can just skirt, and land his counters and then get out, he could pull this off. I think Jairzinho's a live underdog. There's no way I would bet Pavlovich minus 300, because if you're betting Pavlovich minus 300, you need him to knock out Jairzinho early to cover, because otherwise, like in a range kickboxing match, this is going to be 50-50, in my opinion. Like, I think power goes to Pavlovich, but Rosenstrike can hit pretty hard too. And for me, it just really comes down to me not liking Rosenstrike's style. Otherwise, I do think he's a solid underdog shot. I know a lot of people are on him. Once I tape this some more, maybe I can get involved, but I highly doubt it. I just don't like betting Jairzinho, but I'm also not laying minus 300 on Pavlovich. I think overs could be interesting here. We saw Pavlovich's like whole finishing aura kind of get taken away in that Volkov fight. Like, if you deal with him properly, you maintain range, you stay safe, you can extend the guy and you can take over the fight. So overs could be interesting. What are the lines? Forget off the top of my head. Over 1.5 plus 170. I think that's not bad at all. Fight goes plus 500. I like that, because you know how it is in heavyweight. If the finish doesn't come in the first round and a half, I don't have the stats to back this up. I'm sure they're out there somewhere, but I feel like whenever a finish doesn't happen in heavyweight in the first round and a half, it goes to a decision. It just gets sloppy, output slows, power starts to fade a little bit, and it just tends to hit the decision. So what I'm thinking is, I might just hit play fight goes for like a quarter unit. It's plus 500 on Bet Online. We'll see what domestics open. I could see it being extended, so maybe I'll just play that. Otherwise, I don't know. I'll probably pass. But like I said, this is the one fight that I haven't really taped, and I need to tape it some more, and then maybe my opinion will change. I'll pick Pavlovich because I think he's probably going to knock Rosenstruck out. That's my gut feeling, that he knocks him out early. I think Pavlovich is still a beast. The aura is gone, but I still think he's an animal. But it's definitely dog or pass. Like, there's no way I'm laying minus 300 on Pavlovich. Let's see what we got. JB, Jairzinho decision plus 700. That's great, but like if fight goes as plus 500, I'd rather just take that, you know? I think Pav goes back to his old ways and goes, yeah, I think he's probably going to knock him out in the first. That's what I think. But like you said, I'm not betting him at this line. Yeah, 6 sound. Agreed. And yeah, I have no idea if they trained with each other or not. But we can move on. This is a really cool fight. Next up, we've got Nurmagomedov versus Michael Venom Page. Magomedov 15-0 undefeated. He's 30 years old, 6'2" with the 73-inch reach. Page 22 3-0. He's 37, so he's 7 years older, 1 inch taller, and he's going to be at a 6-inch reach advantage. So when I taped this, I was just like, I wish this wasn't I wish it wasn't in this region. I really wish that this was like in America or any other country, because I think Page is going to take his O. I think he should take his O. I think he's going to get robbed doing it, but I think he should win this fight. Like Page, in my opinion, should be the favorite. I'm picking him to win the fight straight up. I don't understand the line at all unless people are literally capping based on judges' biases. Like, look, I'm watching Shara, and I know Shara's a really good striker, and that knockout of Petrosian was awesome. But first of all, I didn't think that performance was that great until the knockout. Especially, like, in my mind, before I taped this, I was like, you know, he looked amazing in the Petrosian fight. He was on top of him the whole time. And then I taped it, and I was like, wait a minute. First of all, I felt like Petrosian might have won the first round. Second of all, he was landing a lot. Third of all, he hurt Shara in the first round. And it's like, he wasn't doing that great. And what I'm noticing with Shara is, first of all, the guy barely throws his hands. He's always kicking, and the kicks are nasty, but come on, use your hands. When he does, he's a good striker. He's got nice combinations. He's very, very fast, mixes up targets very well, but also his reach is kind of short. So like what I'm noticing is like at range, all he has is kicks. You don't really see him throwing long punches. You'll see it sometimes, but most of the time he's kicking. And then if he gets into boxing range, like nice and up close, then he's throwing the hands a bit more. But the output with the hands is pretty lacking. And he's going to be against a guy here in Page who, yeah, he keeps it at kicking range. So maybe Shara can use his kicks too. But like MVP just stays so far away that it's going to be hard for Shara to kick and not miss. And when he misses, the counter is going to be there for Page all day long. He's going to have those counters. His range management is absurd. The way he's able to stay so far away, get in, get out, and not get hit, it's really good. Now, I do have a concern that because the way Page goes in, like his hands are low and then he just explodes in. Shara is the kind of guy who can time something. Shara is the kind of guy who can throw a knee or an elbow or something crazy and time that and knock Page out. That's a concern. But overall, I think Page is going to give him fits. I think he's going to give him a really hard time. I think Shara is not going to know what to do when he can't reach Page. He's not going to be able to hit him with his hands except for when Page comes in and closes the distance. And his kicks are going to be fine, but I just don't know how much he's going to be able to do them at that distance that MVP works off of. And MVP, he's also very, very fast. He's got very underrated power. And he's a really clean striker in his own right. Nice, clean, straight down the pipe with the hands. The kicks are really good too. So it's just like, how do you make the guy plus money? I know he's older. He's 7 years older. That's usually that is a red flag for me. And Shara is a very explosive, powerful guy. And he's fighting at home. So maybe ever so slight favorite. I would understand it. I wouldn't agree with it, but I would understand it. But for me, I think Page is the side. I think this is dog or pass all day long. I think he should be the favorite. But then it just comes down to like, he doesn't separate enough where the judges can't rob him, you know, and the judges probably will rob him. What I think is going to happen is Page is going to be stunting on him the entire time. Shara is going to land a few big shots, and then they're going to give him a 30-27 or something insane like that. I definitely would not play the spread here. That's going to be a trap in any of these spots where you think like Page, for example, or who's another guy who I thought will get screwed by the decision, if anything. Pogues, guys like that, do not play their spreads because it's going to be chalk. And then one bad judge is going to give a 30-27 where there's no business of that being a 30-27, and you're just going to be cooked. So don't lay the chalk. Like if you're going to play these dogs, just do it. Don't lay chalk on totals. Not here. In general, that's my rule. Don't lay chalk on totals because one bad judge ruins it for you. But especially here, I wouldn't do it. So be careful. I like MVP to win. I don't think I'm going to bet it at the current line because I'm scared he's going to get robbed, but I'm going to wait. If they offer me something nicer, and I think they will, I think the parlays will come in on Shara. Then I'll hop in on Page. Like, I guess I wouldn't feel bad about something around plus 185, something like that. Just throwing numbers off the top of my head. I'd have to actually sit and figure it out, but it's dog or pass. I would like to play the dog, but I'm just kind of scared with the judging. Let's catch up with the chat, though. Let's see. Champ said, great fight. Normally would be betting MVP. Yeah, exactly what I was talking about. I think MVP should be the favorite here. Just play fight goes to decision. You know, I thought about parlaying fight goes for a second there, but I can also see them both finishing each other. You know, Shara got hurt by Petrosian, who does not hit hard, and Page hits hard, man. He hits hard. And I know he's up a weight class, but the dude's big, so I'm not super worried about that. I think the power will translate, and that's one concern. And the other is I can also see Shara catching Page when he explodes in, like I mentioned earlier. So that's why I'm not going to parlay the total, even though I did think about it. And I agree with you there, Champ, even though the judges didn't, unfortunately. Shara's style is awful. It's not awful. It's just like for this matchup, it's tough. Shara all day. Okay, one person for Shara. My guy Pepe, thanks for tuning in, brother. Appreciate you coming around. Champ, Shara spread might be the play with a mystery. Yeah, honestly, depending what is that line? I'm not going to play it, but I'm just curious of what it is because that's not a bad idea. It's just like bets like that. You're literally banking on bad judging. Let's see. Shara. Plus 150 isn't good enough. But all right, we can move on. I like Page here to win. I think he's the side in terms of betting too, but for now it's a pass just because of the judging. All right, last up, we've got Israel Adesanya versus Nassourdine Imavov in the main event. Izzy's going to be 24-4-0, 35 years old, 6'4" with an 80-inch reach. Imavov on the other side, he's 15-4-0. He's 28, so he's going to be, let me do some math, 7 years younger. He's going to be 1 inch shorter, and he's going to be at a 5-inch reach disadvantage. So for me, look, I played Imavov like a week and a half ago at like plus 155, just because like I taped this fight a little early, and I was thinking to myself, like, Izzy still looks good, but he's a little bit on the decline. He looks a little bit slower to me. Doesn't seem to be taking punches as well. And like at the end of the day, I know that Imavov is like a kickboxer, but he can wrestle. Like his wrestling's not bad. He was the first person in the UFC to take down Chris Curtis. And going into that fight, Chris Curtis defended what, like 24 out of 24 takedowns attempted against him, or like some crazy number like that. And then, yeah, Pepe, me and my $100, if only. But yeah, that's the one thing you guys don't have to worry about with me. I don't think I've ever moved the line in my life. But anyways. For me, it's like Imavov, I do think has some wrestling upside. I know maybe it's like a square take because Izzy does get taken down a lot, but I think Imavov is an underrated wrestler. You know, taking down Chris Curtis to me was impressive. When he needs to wrestle, he wrestles and he does it pretty well. And just putting that together with the fact that I think he can be competitive with Izzy on the feet, I think that he can land some big shots on Izzy, maybe hurt him a little bit. That's what made me make the play. But now I'm getting kind of buyer's remorse a little bit and starting to get a little nervous thinking about maybe arbing off because I can arb off now because the line has really come in. I could maybe arb off because like low key, watching it back, I thought Izzy was beating Dricus. He actually looked pretty sharp to me. He looked the striking looked nice, crisp. He was fast. He was very accurate, on point. And it's like, I'm concerned he's going to come back here and just have like a you must have forgot kind of performance. And just he is, because at the end of the day, he is an elite striker. He's an elite striker. He's super, super accurate. He's really good at picking his shots. He's really nice with creating angles. And Imavov can be hittable. So, yeah, I'm pretty torn there. But at the end of the day, like, I think I'm going to stand by why I made my play because I do think Imavov can keep this close on the feet. I think Imavov is also a very technical striker. He's very fluid. I think he's clean, hits hard, like I said. So I think it's close on the feet. I lean Izzy a little bit. And then I think Imavov can mix in the grappling. But my other concern is the cardio. That's the thing that I wish I kind of thought about a little bit more. It's a 5-rounder. And it's Imavov's cardio isn't awful. It's not like the worst ever, but he does slow down. And Izzy's got cardio. You can't take that from him. Even if he's a little bit washed at this point, and I'm not sure that he is, but even if he is a little bit washed, he's still got good cardio. And I could see Imavov really, really fading, and then Adesanya just putting it on him. So in terms of a pick, I don't know. I guess I'll do the chicken part thing, and I'll pick Izzy, and then stick with my bet on the other underdog, because I do think Izzy probably wins this at least 55% of the time because of the cardio edge, because I think he's a slightly better striker, and because Imavov isn't a natural wrestler. Even though I do think he can get those takedowns, and I think he will get those takedowns, I'm worried it's going to tire him out. But in terms of a betting, like from a betting perspective, it's dog or pass, and I did play Imavov. Let's see what the chat's saying. Imavov should grapple, but cardio is super sus. That's my major concern. Pepe saying he needs plus 160. I took plus 155, but yeah, I definitely get it. You might be able to get it. I think money will come back in. I cannot see just one-way traffic on this fight. That would be really weird. I don't think Izzy's that washed. Let's see. Imavov should grapple. Is he just low-key washed? 6 sound thinking he's washed. Champ, to be fair to Imavov on the cardio standpoint, a lot of the time the guys he's fighting are getting more tired than Imavov. Yeah, I think his cardio's gotten better. I don't think it's that bad. And I do agree there too. Like Sean hurt him bad in that first round, and Imavov hits pretty hard. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop being a chicken. I'll stay with my Imavov bet. I don't think I'll arb out. I wish I arbed out on Hill like I wanted to, but this time I think I'll keep it. Hopefully Imavov could pull through. It'll be huge for his career, probably close to a title shot after this if he wins it. But yeah, for me, it's dog or pass here. And that's it, guys. That's UFC Riyadh. That's 11 fights. I'll go through my picks one more time. I'll give you the 2 bets that I do have, and then we'll hop on out. Pepe saying I can arb live. Yeah, if I'm awake, man. If I'm awake, the card starts, at 9 a.m. on a Saturday. I like to sleep till like 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Sleep in, get my rest, catch up on the week. But if I'm awake, yeah, it might be a spot, because Imavov will probably look great in the first round, 2 rounds, maybe even 3 rounds, especially if he's getting takedowns, and maybe we can get a nicer line on Izzy to get out of it. That was just such a weird performance, man. Dricus is impossible to cap. And then he also makes capping other fighters really difficult, because it's like you don't know how much of it was their fault or how much of it was just Dricus being Dricus. And this is a fair point from Tala. Stylebender's been fighting better opponents, but Imavov at this point has been fighting really good guys too, man. Brendan Allen was on a run. Jared Cannonier, he's getting old. I get it. Delete say, okay. All right. Yeah, I'll give it to you. Adesanya definitely better competition. Pereira, Cannonier before that. But all right, guys, that's it. Picks. I'll pick Pogues, but do not bet him. I think he's going to get robbed. Alexander, Jasmine, but it's dog or pass for sure. McKinney, but I don't really know what to do with it. Maybe the KO prop. I think that's decent at plus 200 or whatever it is. Gaziev, but dog or pass. Naimov. Davis is the pick, but it's dog or pass, and I'm on Ziam. Saeed, dog or pass, though. Pavlovich, but dog or pass. I'm picking Page straight up. And Izzy, but dog or pass. And that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. My 2 bets, like I said, Imavov plus 155, 1 unit. And I've got the 1 unit on Ziam at plus 205. Good luck this weekend, guys. Peace.